Well, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Love Shreveport podcast. We're excited that you took this time to tune in with us. And of course, we want you to share this information with somebody else so that they can be a part and gather this information that we're about to give to you, some important and helpful information. But of course, we definitely want you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and tell somebody else to do the same at the City of Shreveport, LA. All right, please do so as we start and give you this information. Today, we have a very, very special guest with us from SBA, the Small Business Administration. We've got Mr. Susheel Kumar. How are you doing today?
Corey, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us and being a part. Some storms have come through Caddo and Bossier Parish and surrounding areas. There's some things that you're here to talk about today to kind of help with those that have been affected by these disasters. We want to jump right into it of what's going on. But before we do that, share what the SBA is all about.
You know, the Small Business Administration, before I get into the program, first of all, thanks for your platform,
Sure.
your audience, your engagement. The Small Business Administration's Office of Recovery and Resilience, which is I'm a part of, provides low interest rate disaster loans for not only homeowners and renters, but of course businesses of all sizes. The word business is obvious, and most private nonprofits, including houses of worship.
Wow.
The disaster declaration process that Mr. Jump out of the Caddo Parish Emergency Management Office, who spearheaded it, that's where it all starts, all disasters are local. What they do is they work with Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness out of Baton Rouge. They assessed that they had enough homes and businesses, so that would be 25 homes or businesses, with 40% or more uninsured damages. So the area that was surveyed met that criterion. They requested assistance from the federal partners. There is no FEMA involved, so we bring our program into the area to support the needs of the many.
Wow, amazing. So what types of disaster loans are available?
Homeowners can borrow up to $500,000. Homeowners can also borrow up to $100,000 for their personal property, including automobiles. Renters can borrow up to $100,000. Businesses of all sizes. For those folks that own commercial property where they have renters, that's considered a business, your Schedule E. And we can assist with not only economic injury, that is, rent's not being paid because the building is destroyed, but also physical damages, and of course businesses of all sizes, whether they are a CPA firm or whether they're a doctor's office, so on and so forth, and of course 501c3s including the chamber. All nonprofits potentially can apply for funding. They can borrow up to $2 million along with businesses.
Wow. Is there a credit requirement for this?
Because it's a loan, there's always a requirement that you pay your bills on time.
Correct.
Okay, so there is an initial credit check. Then as long as you pay your bills on time, most people don't have to worry about it. Now, if you're currently delinquent on your taxes, any federal debt, child support payments, or your credit card or your car loans, you need to clear that delinquency. Any historical delinquency, if it's been paid, shouldn't be a deterrent. It's a cash flow loan. We'll take collateral if and when it's required. If there isn't any, that doesn't stop you. But if you do not pledge collateral, it basically means that you, Corey, for example, don't believe in your own recovery. So as a result, it could be a turn down.
Correct.
So a cash flow loan that we borrow against your home, if you have collateral available, personal property, up to $100,000, and of course all of this is predicated on no insurance payments being made up front. So in other words, if you have $100,000 worth of damages and insurance covers 80, we will cover the difference. So we can't duplicate benefits.
Wow.
That's the key.
Wow.
Because if insurance is supposed to be your first line of defense,
Correct.
in the absence of it or shortage of it, that's where we get involved.
Wow.
Okay? So I've been talking to folks around the parish, the city commissioners, and in the community generally speaking. I always tell folks, you believe you're insured for the full value. Let me tell you that's not the case. Because no homeowner can recoup dollar for dollar on the claims that they have presented. So you present a claim for $1, you get paid 80 cents, 70 cents, 60 cents. They'll take out depreciation, they'll take out loss of use, they'll take out the deductibles. We will cover those.
Wow, absolutely amazing. So is there any, or what are the interest rates for these loans?
Fixed interest rates are as low as 2.5% for homeowners and renters, and that's right, 2.5, right? For businesses, it's a fixed 4%. And for nonprofits, including houses of worship, it's 2.375 fixed. So all those folks who are listening says, the Fed keeps raising rates, but will I get affected? You won't, because this money comes directly from the Treasury.
Correct.
Other institutions that borrow money are paying much higher rates than that. So the cost of borrowing for the federal government right now is 4.2%. And oh, by the way, the average American is borrowing money every day through credit cards. If your credit card rate is 24%, 25%, why would you not borrow at 2.5% to repair your life?
Wow.
And the average American does not pay their credit card balances in full, right?
Correct.
The balances accrue, but this is an installment loan where you're getting back on your feet and you're rebuilding your life.
Correct.
Do you want to live in an unrepaired home or unrepaired car, or would you rather repair it and then repay it over a 30-year term? Maximum 30-year term. No fees, no points, no closing costs, and payment penalty.
Wow. Now, can you go back and just share those amounts again for everybody?
Sure. So I'll start off with personal property.
Okay.
Homeowners and renters tend to have personal property, right? That's $100,000. Okay. Homeowners can borrow up to $500,000.
Okay.
Businesses can borrow up to $2 million, not only for physical damages, but also for economic injury. And I'll get into that definition real quick. And then houses of worship, 501c3s, most private nonprofits can also borrow up to a maximum $2 million. Interest rates for homeowners and renters is 2.5% fixed. For businesses, it's 4% fixed. And for nonprofits, it's 2.375% fixed.
Wow. Wow.
So I did say I was going to talk briefly about economic injury. It's a fancy term. Really, it spells out something very basic. Businesses operate for a profit. If you look at your profit and loss, your income statement, if there's a dollar sign next to it, hopefully you're making a profit, and that could be measured in percentage terms. So I made $10,000, my revenue is $100,000, my margin is 10%. Margin compression is very commonplace in the world of disaster because your revenues kind of go away. The expenses are very much obviously there. If not, they go up further because people can't get to you or distribution costs go up or something else goes up, right? So margin compression is a given. And on top of it, when you have no revenue coming in, are you going to let your business go? Are you going to float it with your personal funds? Or are you going to borrow at 4%? You're going to borrow at 4% for the most part, simply because you don't want one single disaster to kill your dreams, kill payroll, people that you employ. So that 4% money over a 30-year time frame equals a payment. Can you qualify for that based on your cash flow? If the answer is yes, for the most part, the money is yours.
Wow. Now, are there any restrictions for loan eligibility?
The requirements are that you have to be in the damaged area, number one. Number two, in our fact sheet that you're currently looking at, there are certain parishes that qualify. If you're in Claiborne, you don't qualify, but if you're in Red River, you do.
Wow.
Because you got to be in the impacted area. So it's Caddo, DeSoto, Bossier, and Red River. If you had damages as a result of the tornadoes, the weather system that went through here on the 10th of June to the 18th, you're eligible. Now, do you qualify, which is a different word? That depends on your overall cash flow, you know, how much money you have to borrow, so on and so forth. So I'm sure you're going to ask me, what's the loan amount?
Yeah.
Right? So when you apply with us, you can apply with us 3 different ways. You can ask for a paper application. You can visit us at the Independence Stadium in Pershing Street. I was told that if you go to 3305 Fair Street, that gets you there just as well as 3301 Pershing, which is on all of our flyers.
Sure.
So it's a south side entrance, first floor. We're there from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday through the 25th. That's the second way of applying. And third is online. If you have the capacity and the inclination and the desire to do so, and you've got internet and you got a computer at home, disasterloanassistance.sba.gov.
Okay.
So what you do is once you walk into the center, you apply for assistance and the dollar amounts that we talked about, and someone will actually take an application for you.
Wow. This is absolutely amazing.
Thank you, sir.
To kind of help people get back on their feet. So is there any help available for refinancing?
Yes. As a matter of fact, when people hear of a traditional loan, their immediate thought process is, God, I can't afford to repay it. Well, when we underwrite your loan, when we qualify you for a loan, that becomes pretty obvious whether or not you qualify. At 2.5%, your payments are really low. So the dollars and cents that I was initially referring to, when you apply for a loan, somebody actually comes out to your home. They verified the damages that you've incurred. A lot of times people will ballpark the dollar number, which is not accurate. So what we want to do is send out an appraiser. For example, Corey, we send somebody to appraise your home, 123 Main Street, and they'll literally list every nut and bolt that has been damaged. Your facade, your shingles, your roof, your fence, your personal property, and they'll come up with a dollar number. Personal property was X, damage to home was X. That verified loss is your loan amount. Then can you cash flow that over a 30-year term at 2.5%? So here's the definition of cash flow. Corey makes $5,000 a month gross. My expenses are $1,500 on a monthly basis. He has $3,500 left over. Can that $3,500 now repay the amount of the damages we just verified? If you can, for the most part, the money is yours. And that's where the refinance part comes in. Once you use our money and have exhausted every bit of it, you can then ask the SBA to refinance the first. There are certain parameters, all of which I'm not going to cover, just going to cover the basics, right? If the overall cash flow savings are there, your home is substantially damaged, there's evidence of a first mortgage, and you don't cross the threshold of $500,000. So hypothetically, let's say you have a first for $150,000 at 6%, and we lend you money at $100,000 for the damages that you just incurred. Can, of course, mathematically, it's below $500,000. There's evidence of substantial damage. Can we pay off the first and save you money? If the answer is yes, your new interest rate for the combined $250,000 is 2.5%.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, you have to go through a disaster to seek. You have to have used your money completely. There are lots of other steps that you got to go through, but refinance is a very high, effective way of helping the taxpayer.
Sure. What if someone wants to have a mind to relocate? How does that work?
That works beautifully also. That's one of our other benefits. If you want to move from 123 Main Street because you're tired of flooding and you want to go to 550 Main Street hypothetically, and your job moved to, and it's involuntary in nature, the relocation, for the most part, the money is yours.
Wow.
And again, you got to stay within those loan parameters, $500,000 or less.
Yes. So are there any insurance requirements for?
Absolutely. The mindset of the SBA's program is to make the community more resilient. As I mentioned to many other folks interested in our program, insurance is your first line of defense in a disaster. So by requesting that the homeowner or the renter or the business owner or the private nonprofit seek insurance as a requirement for the loan, next time all you need to do is call the insurance company, ask them to make you whole, and whatever is left over, the deductibles, the things that we talked about, come to the SBA for it. So you've taken them from being underinsured, or in this case uninsured, to underinsured, but you've made them more resilient in the process.
Wow.
So insurance requirements is a way to lower the federal costs of rebuilding post-disaster.
Wow.
And most of, you'd be surprised how many folks are underinsured out there, and of course the uninsured community.
Correct. So with all of this, can you get a loan for a rental property?
Yes, very much so. So let's use you as an example. Let's say you're a landlord. I'm renting from you. You've suffered physical damages because the tree fell on the house. I can't live there anymore. So I can recoup money for personal property that got damaged as a result. My living room furniture, my bedroom furniture, it fell on the car, so on and so forth. That's on the renter side. On the individual side, we would need a copy of your tax returns to evidence the rental income that you've earned on your Schedule E. You would also then get benefit of the rental income that you have to forego now and seek compensation from the federal government, and also any and all damages that you've incurred minus any insurance benefits that you're going to get paid.
Wow.
So all of that at 4%.
Wow.
Because it's a business.
Sure.
So it's our way. If you were to look up our program on the web, it'll tell you very specifically, we're the largest source of funds post-disaster for property damaged properties. We seek to stabilize the tax base in the form of stable home values,
Sure.
because homes get damaged, the values go down, the city doesn't make any. Spending on the business side goes down, the city doesn't make any. So my job is to protect the city's tax base, but also directly helping homeowners, business owners, chambers, most private nonprofits, places of worship, things along those lines.
Sure. Wow, so much great information to kind of help people get back on their feet. You're here to the 25th. Where's the office here for, until the 25th? How can people come? How can they apply? Any numbers, anything?
1-800-659-2955, 3301 Pershing Street. It's literally when you come down the side streets and make that turn on Velva and back up onto the stadium next to the highway, you'll see signs that says, come on in, 8 to 5. We've got staff that are there to assist you. And, come apply. Don't worry about what documents you have to bring, because you may not have them.
Sure.
You may have been destroyed. You may have misplaced them. So rather than postpone your visit, I mean, it's like going to the gym.
Right.
Do I have the right equipment? Do I have the... No. Just show up.
Show up.
Just start your workout.
Yeah.
Start the process. And if there's something that you need, they'll tell you.
Sure.
And if they tell you, just make sure you return it in a timely fashion back at the center. So time's of the essence. Please make sure you get there. And there's one last thing I want to add, if I could.
Sure.
Mitigation is a huge part of our recovery process. So there's been evidence that if you build it back better with better materials that didn't exist when you initially built the home, most homes are 30, 40 years old, unless you're brand new construction, right? What you can do is use mitigation money to build back better, perhaps a facade, perhaps a roof, perhaps something else that I'm not mentioning. Take a look at Institute of Business Safety, IBHS. They have materials that you could potentially buy to make your home stronger. We don't tell you what to do. It's an option. And what happens is 20% of the loan amount, which we described as the amount of damages, you can add on to the loan and build back better.
Wow.
So if your loan amount hypothetically is $100,000, and that's the amount of your damages, you can get another $20,000, which is 20%, add on to the loan, and repay the entire $120,000 over a 30-year term at 2.5%.
Wow.
So if you did the math, that's $4,000 a year.
Right.
$4,000 a year divided by 12, that's about what, $350 at 2.5%. There's your monthly payment.
Wow.
Okay. Don't want to quote that that's the case all
Correct,
the time.
correct.
But that's how you want to do the math.
Right.
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 Because people, when they hear loan, they panic, they freak out.
Of course.
Rightfully so.
Of course.
Because they have unfortunately gone through certain types of lending practices that might not have been beneficial to them. This is not that type of loan.
Sure.
I want to emphasize it's not. We're looking to help the community rebuild.
Sure.
That's why the interest rates are so low. The money comes from the Treasury directly. The money's in your bank account 3 to 4 weeks after you fill out the application.
Wow.
So the faster you get there, the quicker you can recover.
Sure. Now, we've asked you a lot of questions today. Is there any other information? What's the website people can go to, maybe read up on it to get more knowledge? And
SBA.gov/preparedness, SBA.gov/EIDL for businesses. For the application itself, you would want to go to disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. If you have any questions, 1-800-659-2955. And if you happen to go into the SBA, just browse Small Business Administration, and the SBA.gov address will come up. Just scroll through it, and then if you want to type it under the search button, disaster preparedness or disaster loan program, a lot of different details will come up. Because I don't want it just to be about disaster, but the Small Business Administration works with resource partners. The Louisiana State SBDC, Small Business Development Center, is a huge ally. We call them our resource partner extraordinaire. Call Amanda Flynn over at 4646 Hillroy Huckabee. She is the interim director for the Small Business Development Center. She's got a great staff. There are women's business centers that you can talk to, the Urban League in New Orleans. Call them, they can work with you. SCORE chapters and Veterans Business Outreach Centers.
Wow.
So there are various ways that the community can tap into these resource partners to get the help that you need.
Sure.
So all that's covered on the website too. So in addition, I mean, it's a collaborative effort to recover after disaster. It takes a village to rebuild. Take advantage of that. A lot of business owners are very smart about how to build a widget.
Sure.
But how to build a business plan? Perhaps not. Rare, if you know both, that's great. But if not, why not go to the experts?
Most definitely.
Digital media, go to the business expert. Market feasibility, go to the expert. Looking for a lender match? Talk to them. There's so many facets to what they do. And the best part of it is, it's free.
It is free.
So why not take advantage? And you know, the old expression is you get what you pay for. Not in this case. You're getting high-powered dollars paid for by the federal government to help you succeed. Why would you not want that type? It's like a Michael Jordan helping you perfect the jump shot.
Correct.
Why wouldn't you want the LSBDC on your back? Why wouldn't you want a score chapter on your back? So on and so forth. So a comprehensive website. Take a look. 1-800-659-2955. And looking forward to serve the community.
Man, Mr. Susheel, we appreciate you for coming out.
Thank you, sir.
And joining us on this podcast. You've got this information. Share it. Hit the share button. Get the link. Share it with somebody. Share it with everybody you know. Put it on your social media pages so they can get this information, especially if you have been affected by the storm. So again, thank you so much. Encourage someone to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, we are on all social media platforms. I'm talking Facebook, City of Shreveport Government, Instagram at Love Shreveport, X, which was Twitter, at Love Shreveport 1. We're even on Threads as well. So I want you to follow us on all social media outlets.
I'd like to plug a one-liner.
Sure.
Let's call it the artist formerly known as Twitter.
We can do that. The artist formerly known as Twitter. It is
Thank
X
you for Prince
now.
fans.
There you go. Thank y'all so much for watching. Get this information in the hands of everybody you know that needs it. Again, thank you for tuning in to the Love Shreveport podcast. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.